Jasmine.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright.
What's going on?
Do with a little bit more wind.
It's a bit quiet, is it?
Yeah, there's the wind has literally in the past half an hour just completely died.
Oh, so you're becalmed. You're not just sailing slowly.
Yeah, right now I don't know whether you can hear it, but my sails are just flapping. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't hear them, but I can imagine it must be frustrating because it always puts more wear and tear on your sails than too much wind.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm pretty becalmed. I'm doing 1 knot occasionally.
I guess you'll be looking forward to that front coming through this evening.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be... Yeah, it's not going to be till like midnight really that it starts to kind of come in.
Okay.
Anything.
So you're going to keep the sails up and trying to hand steer just to keep moving along? What's your plan?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to have to. Sails are up now, but as I said, it's literally just been in the past half hour that the wind has just completely dropped. So I didn't think it was going to drop so much.
What's the sea like? What's the sea state like?
It's pretty flat.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few waves still, but like, yeah, at least they are still going with me, not against me.
And how's life on board? Are you eating well and sleeping well?
Yeah. Eating alright, just eating snacks. Sleeping, yeah, I get my best sleep probably between like 8 and midnight. Yeah, it's alright.
And then after midnight, do you get up more? What happens after midnight?
Yeah, I end up getting up probably like every hour or so. Depends what's going on.
So you have a good sleep in the early evening by the sound of it?
Yeah, often by accident. But yeah, that's sort of when I seem to get my best sleep. That's when the past few days the weather's been most consistent, it seems.
Yeah. And during the day, do you sleep in during the day, or are you hand steering, or what? How are you managing the boat?
No, I don't sleep during the day. It's just a bit of a mixture of everything from just jobs on board, sail changes, trying to sail, bit of hand steering. So like, yeah, this morning it was, sort the sails out, get my A5 up and then refill all my jugs with water, and I put my outboard batteries, plugged them in just so that they don't completely die, because like you've got to plug them in probably like once a week, otherwise they just lose all the power. And obviously with no way to recharge them, it's quite important that I've still got some battery left. So I did that, tidied up, did some more just stuff, had some food, and then just because I knew that I'd probably end up hand steering the rest of the day, so.
Yep, and can you clear up for us the confusion about whether it was your rudder pintles or the Hydrovane that was a bit too tight?
So it was my main rudder.
Right.
Basically, I got told that if you've got your Hydrovane on the side, you need to lock off your main rudder if you're using the Hydrovane. So I was like, okay, cool. So when I was putting the rudder on, I thought it'll probably be better, like, if it's a bit stiffer, like if the rudder's a bit tighter, because then I don't have to lock it off as much. It will just pretty much stay there, you know. But it turns out that is completely false information, and you do not lock the rudder off when you're using the Hydrovane, because the Hydrovane can't steer unless the other rudder is moving alongside it. So it meant that it took a while to figure this out, and obviously it's really difficult to try and loosen off the rudder, seeing as you've got to access the bottom bolt, which is, a good 6 inches below the waterline on the back of the boat. And
a long way down to the deck.
Yeah, and so I was trying to do it the first night, which made it really impossible. And then it was just, a bit of a nightmare. But basically, you need the rudder to be free. You don't need to lock it off. You don't need to do anything. You don't even need to link the rudders. Obviously, we're not allowed, but you don't need to anyway. Because when the rudder's free, it moves alongside the Hydrovane anyway. So whenever the Hydrovane moves, the main rudder then moves just naturally.
Okay, so, that's interesting. I thought it would just be trailing along behind.
No, it moves with it. I'm literally just sat watching it now. The Hydrovane's on like normal. My main rudder is just free. Like, I'm not doing anything, not touching it, no lines attached to it. And when the Hydrovane moves, the other rudder moves as well. So, yeah, it was basically just the false information for people telling me that I needed to lock off the main rudder.
Yeah, because I would have thought you'd tie the tiller off, when you were using the Hydrovane, but obviously that's wrong. Yeah.
No, that's what everybody said. Yeah. That's what you need to do, and it doesn't work. Honestly, the Hydrovane rudder has no control over the boat if the main rudder is locked off. The Hydrovane rudder is useless and does nothing. And the problem was, I was so desperate to try and get some sleep and figure out the problem, is that I couldn't even link the rudders together because the main rudder was so tight that the Hydrovane wasn't strong enough to move both of them. So I've managed to, the following day, I've managed to put my autopilot on, which I'd never used before. So I connected that to the main rudder, and so that worked for the night and the following day. And then I spent a good few attempts hanging off the back of the boat, dropping my sails, heaving to, and hanging off the back of the boat in the swell to try and loosen off the rudder. And finally, I managed to loosen it off enough that we're all good. But yeah, it was not the Hydrovane because I didn't touch this. This sounds like I didn't touch the Hydrovane. When we moved it, I literally tied my main halyard around the Hydrovane, unbolted it from the back, just swung it across, a foot, and then just reattached it. I didn't change anything to do. I didn't take the rudder off. I didn't even take the flip-flop off. I did nothing. The Hydrovane stayed exactly how it always was, so it would never be an issue with that.
Yeah, because that's a self-contained unit, yeah, I guess. The other thing is your Hydrovane about the same distance away from your main rudder as everybody else's? I guess you looked at the other people who had it on the one side and copied it?
I measured it exactly.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Mine is just slightly higher up than Renault's, because Renault wanted, if he would put his on again, he would put it up slightly higher. And because I've got the what do you call it, the arch at the back, I needed it higher anyway to avoid hitting that. Yeah. So other than that, it's the exact same distance as everybody else's.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated that it must be the water flow when the Hydrovane rudder turns. It must push the water against the other one, which is what kicks it across.
Yeah.
And if it's tight and it can't go across, it actually probably turns the boat the wrong way or something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but honestly, it just didn't make any sense to me, because, when Don talks about it, and he says about locking off the main rudder and whatever, that's what you've got to do now, because you can't link the rudders. You can't lock off the main rudder. You simply can't. It doesn't work. You've then got no steerage if the main rudder's locked off. So
I think under the rules you can either lock it off or you can just leave it loose. You're just not allowed to connect them together, but you can do whatever you like with it other than that. So
yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't think there is any advantage to linking the rudders together anyway, because they move as one as it is. There's absolutely zero advantage apart from just slightly more risk that if you did get hit by a rogue wave or something, that the rudders would end up hitting each other. It doesn't give you any advantage, it just actually adds more risk, to be honest, not being able to link them.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know that anyone's mentioned, I guess they've all just taken the linkages off in the Marquesas, but I haven't heard anyone mentioning the rudders interfering with each other. But it's a new area. You know, this is a whole new experiment, really.
Yeah, well, it's just what I found. I was so frustrated. I was speaking to everybody and just trying to figure out the solution, and the solution is just have a loose rudder and just let them do their own thing.
Yeah, that's great. So you're doing some very close racing there, the middle group. You're all very close to each other. Is that exciting?
Well, we were, until Adam sort of escaped me last night. He managed to gain 10 miles just overnight. I think he was just in a slightly different position and had a bit better wind. But yeah, we're relatively close. Like, at the moment, we're all still within a day of each other.
Yeah.
Like, Adam's now 25 miles away, Josh is 30 miles away, Gary's only 5 or something, Ayrton's only about 25 or something. It's all... I'm not particularly bothered about the competition side of it, because obviously that's not why I'm doing it, but it's nice to know that there are other people around.
Yeah,
it's a nice feeling.
Do you talk to them on the VHF?
We're too far away now, but I was speaking to Jacob, I was speaking to Gary, I was speaking to Ayrton. I had like a good 10-minute conversation with Gary the other day. I've heard Eric. What's quite funny is sometimes you can hear only one person, but you know that they're talking to another, so you kind of put the other conversation in it. So like, I could hear Jacob talking to Eric, but I couldn't hear Eric. I could only hear Jacob's half. So then when he'd finished talking, I then like radio Jacob, and then we had a chat, and it's just really nice.
Yeah, it's good to have that companionship, and you're far enough away that there's no risk of colliding or anything. But you got your AIS anyway, so that would solve that problem.
Yeah, nobody ever really has them on anyway. So
okay.
Me and Gary have been really close to each other, and whilst we were a couple of nights and crossed over paths quite a lot, and me and Ayrton the first night were unbelievably close. Like, I pretty much nearly hit him, actually.
Wow.
I was hearing the entire night, and suddenly I turned around and he was literally like, his bowsprit was like a couple of metres away from me. I was like, oh my god.
Oh, that's really close, yes.
Yeah, so I was like, just steering, and I radioed him, and I was like, Ayrton, he was like, oh, sorry, I was asleep. I was like, yeah, that's fine, but just so you know, we are very close to each other, and I'm obviously looking forwards and looking at my compass, but you're behind me. So, and he was there like, oh, do you need me to do anything? I was like, no, it's fine, but like, just so you know, like, we are very close.
Yeah, I would have thought you'd keep your AIS on, because it doesn't draw a lot of battery power, does it?
Mine does. Mine draws a ridiculous amount. But to be honest, my AIS is a bit moody. So I did have it on for pretty much a week. And then I turned it off the other day just so I could get some more power. And it doesn't like to turn on again immediately. It needs about 3 days worth of, chilling, and then it'll turn back on again. So, and it's done that the entire time I've owned it. So, and we can't figure out why. It just likes to, once you turn it off, it doesn't turn on again for 3 days.
Gee,
so I've got another day to wait, and then it'll go back on.
Yeah, because the AIS that I had, I haven't got one on this boat yet, but I had one on my previous boat. It would come on immediately. I'd switch it on, and it would be immediately active. There was something there would start bleeping.
Yeah, that will happen when it decides to get out of its mood. honestly, it's so weird. I remember, just if I turn it off, it doesn't turn back on again, and it needs time. So.
And do you know how much current it draws?
Not sure exactly, but quite a lot. As in, like, if I overnight, let's say I go to bed with 90% battery, I can wake up on 60% battery just with my AAS and lights on.
Okay, yeah, that's quite an impact, isn't it? Especially if you're going to have an overcast day the next day.
Exactly. Yeah. But then I can't turn it off because it won't turn on again. So I'm a bit stuck, really, either way.
I'd be looking at changing my unit. I guess it's a question of finances as well.
The finances, it's that, but it's also the space in the nav table, the complications of the whole thing, the cables that are needed, and it's a bit of everything.
So, what is your watch-keeping routine in that case? Do you look out? How regularly do you look out if you haven't got the AIS switched on?
Well, at the moment, not that much, just because there is absolutely zero traffic around. I keep an eye on my Echo Max for any big boats, so that's always on. And there's not been a single boat that's picked me up on radar, and obviously that stretches like 20 miles or something, and there's not been a single boat the entire time. So other than that, I just get up, have a good look around every hour or so, to be honest. Okay,
and you in good health and enjoying the passage so far, apart from the frustrations of no wind and all that stuff?
It's actually been one of the best starts to a passage ever. We had we've had really good mileage, to be honest. Averaged out, had amazing conditions, some of the best sailing I've ever had, just flat seas, champagne sailing, honestly, like just perfect amount of breeze and just off you go. It was like we had probably 3 days where it was unbelievable, and we're all messaging each other being like, I cannot believe how lucky we are. This is everything that you'd want. It was bright, clear skies. It was just, it made like what you would dream of sailing actually then was like happening. And we're like, and that's not happened at all, like halfway around the world. And we had 3 days of it in a row, and it was just incredible.
Yeah, that's good. And obviously, you change your sails with the different weather conditions, but on average, what sort of sail configurations have you been using?
So I had my A3 up yesterday for the first time in a while, but then I got really overpowered and the wind picked up somewhat crazy. So most of the time I'm on A5 or A7, or sometimes quite a lot of the time both if the wind's directly behind me, or A7 and jib. Right now I've got full main and A5 because the wind's coming, if there is some wind, it's coming from the side.
From the north, yeah.
But I do like my A7 is probably my favourite sail.
And you usually have a combination with either some of the jib or the A sails and occasionally the mainsail.
Yeah, so I do like the combination of the A7 and A5, but I feel most confident with the A7 and jib.
Okay, yeah. And that, what sort of wind strengths do you need for the A7 and the jib to give you a let's say somewhere between 4 and 5 knots hull speed?
Oh, I have no idea, because I have no idea actually ever how much the wind is blowing, because I know to not trust windy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of just go off the feel of it, and I go off. So, for example, I won't get out the A3 if I've got any breakers. As in, if there's any white water on the ocean, the A3 doesn't come out. And it depends on how many there are. If there is lots, fine, A5. But then if you get the big rolling breakers that come over and surf you anything above 10 knots, then the A5's away. So, yeah, I don't know about wind speed, I just know about sea state and, I don't know.
That's good. No, that's an excellent description. That was the sort of thing I was looking for, so I'm very pleased. All right, well, is there anything you'd like to say to your followers or your sponsors, etc., before we sign off?
Just thank you for the support, and I can't believe we're already halfway. It's mental, honestly.
Yeah. So when will you see Susan again, your mum?
Cape Town, if I get that far.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Yeah, one of the things I've done is because Pilar couldn't understand my English when we were at Vila, I promised her that I would write a document which is based on a reading I did, and then I typed it out, of John Goswell's book about his passage between Mauritius and Cape Town via Durban, plus another American single hand, and I put the two together with a few little extra notes I've added into a document. So if I've got people's email addresses, which you could send me on WhatsApp, I'll be happy to send you the document to read. I'm offering that to all the entrants if they're interested in having a look at that.
Yeah, definitely. Always up for something to read to kill boredom.
It's only about 6,000 or 7,000 words. It's just like a long article, but it's just a combination of readings from those two authors who went round on little boats around the Cape, and it's also I've added a few notes of my own to it in bold, and I just sort of give people something to think about, because I know some people are a bit worried about that passage, and in Durban there is a sort of they're very helpful there. They've got quite a lot of experience, but everybody loves to talk about how tough the conditions are in their local area, and they are a little bit pessimistic, I think, about the risks. And as I feel, as long as you know what the risks are and you mitigate for them, it's really no more challenging than sailing across Biscay in the summer. You don't want to be caught by a southwesterly gale going around the Cape when you're close to the continental edge. But other than that, you should be able to manage it, listening to your weather, and maybe hiding in a port occasionally and whatever. So I just thought I'd put that document together for people so that they've got something balanced for you to consider.
Yeah, no, that'd be really cool. I'll WhatsApp you my email address.
Yeah, that'll be great. Okay, well, thanks very much for the chat, and I'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, nice to speak to you.
And good luck for the Torres Strait passage.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be fine, because you've got all the good tools to get you through there safely. So I don't think it'll be too difficult.
Well, apart from the fact that the weather's meant to be 30 knots.
It is going to blow up, yeah. I just spoke to Jacob and he told me that. I didn't know it until then. That is going to be a bit of an issue, and then you'll have to make a decision about which passage you choose.
I know a decision. I'm going the Northern Passage, no matter what happens.
Okay, so you're going up to Bramble Key, and then you're going to go down through the shipping channel, the Northeast Passage. That's the traditional way people used to always go.
It is the only way that is pre-marked on my navigation, and therefore I trust it a hell of a lot more than me reading a book and putting in my own waypoints. Yeah,
and it's a decision that every skipper has to make for themselves, and you've made your decision, and I think it's a good one for you.
Yeah, because I don't care about the speed. I know it's longer, but it's wider, it's safer, there's less risk, and actually from where we are now, it's easier to get to. In terms of we're already more north. We've got to head at 280 something to get to the start of it, whereas we'd have to head further south. Obviously to get to the other one, and I've just made my decision. I'm not competitive. I just want to be safe and get all the way around.
And there are a couple of, if you really get very tired and you're beating and you're not getting anywhere and the tide goes against you in the northeast channel, there are a couple of islands that you can anchor behind. They're not brilliant anchorages, and it's a sort of a corally hard bottom, but you can anchor there for a few hours to wait for the tide to turn or just to have a short rest.
Yeah, well, considering the winds are meant to be pretty strong, I think we should be able to keep moving and therefore not go too off course too quickly, but obviously I could be very wrong. We just don't know, dear.
Oh, you'll find out when you get there. But yeah, I think your assessment is probably right. And most people do go straight through without stopping. But I do know a couple of people who have anchored because they got tired.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have a bit more wind than less wind.
Absolutely, because then you can keep the boat. You can keep the boat moving fast. Yeah, when there's big currents, the faster you can go, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well that's good, and I'll send you that information, and I'll look forward to following you through the passage.
Yeah, I'll speak to you later.
Okay, cheers, bye.
Bye.